This is the video review of the Solar Streak Megazord from Power Rangers Mystic Force, also known as the Travelion from Maho Sentai Magiranger. And this is a very nice train. I love the look of it as it goes by, because it has a steam locomotive, the coal car, and then a bunch of cargo carts. Yeah. And they will come undone every once in a while, especially if you turn them too wide. But if you have it on a straight surface, which I can't really do here because I have limited space, you can put all the way and it will roll along pretty well, like a train should. And let me take this apart here so it's not quite so unwieldy. And then let me get it set up with everything set to the side. Here are the cargo carts, or cargo cars. Here's the coal car, and here is the steam locomotive. And I'm going to cover the cargo carts first. Now, as you can see, there are two basic types. There are these ones here, which are the legs, so you can tell them apart easily because these aren't painted. Then these ones are the arms. You can tell them apart because they have the silver bits up there that are painted. And they all basically look like this. The legs versus the arms look a little bit different, but this is the basic design. You, from a distance, wouldn't be able to tell which is which, except for the painted part right here. Because they do look basically the same, and they are meant to look the same, because it's supposed to be a train which has standardized compartments. And yeah, this is a leg. They have connector bits here, a clip, and then a pin right here. And this is an arm. Clip and pin right here, and that's basically all there is to them in this mode. Next we have the coal cart, and this is not the most heavily detailed of the bunch. It's not the best looking, but it's very functional for the transformation and for what it's supposed to be, which is just a simple coal car. I think it works pretty well. And here is the star of the show, which is the steam locomotive. As you can see, it even has a drive shaft mechanism here, although it's a fake because it's just moving around the pin. It's not actually turning this wheel here. Although when it's actually moving on the ground, it looks very convincing, which I think that's neat. Now this does have lights and sounds. The switch is right here, and the button's right here. So in this mode, you have access to the on-off noise, which is it's just one blast of the horn. Then you have the sound of it going across the tracks, and then you have two blasts of the horn if you press it a second time. It does have one other sound, but we'll need to. It has two other sounds, but we'll need to wait until we get to robot mode to show those. Now, to get to robot mode, first you will fold this pin in, fold this up, and we will fold this down later, but we'll wait, you'll see why. And then I'll put this off to the side. Next we come to my favorite part of the transformation, which is the coal car. Now to do this, you fold up the hitch right here, turn it upside down, fold this down, rotate this up, and then bring this down back with the head, and this will clip in back here. And this is the main body, and I really like that transformation because it's very simple, but it does a lot. So, let me show that again. You have the car, fold this up, fold this down, and fold this back. And I do really like that head. It's a very interesting looking head. It looks like a smokestack, but also looks like a, kind of like a turban. So this whole set reminds me of the Oriental Express, kind of. I've never actually seen an Oriental Express car, but it has a very Eastern feel to it. It's neat. And then, well, this is the main body, and then what we will do is we will take one of the legs, fold in the clip, and then there is a tab right here, and there are these holes in the bottom here. It will go in like that, and that's all you do for the legs. I do wish the legs did a bit more to transform, but I don't really know what else they would do, because this is all they need to do. Now we will aim this up, and now we'll start dealing with the fists. This is the left fist, because the outside's pointing that way. We'll fold in the clips. And then what we will do is we will slide this up, and then we will pull the connector port out here, and it's a rotating bit. it has a slide mechanism that will slide onto here, and I think that's a neat mechanism for not having just a connector pin sticking out to the side, even though it is just a typical Sentai connector pin thing here. And actually, a bit of warning, if you buy this, make sure it has the robot. If you buy this on eBay, make sure it shows a picture of the robot mode, because if you just buy it as a picture of the trains, you won't necessarily know that we'll have the connector ports here. And it's also possible to switch the connector ports between sides, which is how mine arrived, which caused the arms to be a little bit low. And if you see here, and this is combined, there's not much clearance between this part and the leg. When this is set lower than it should be, there is no clearance and it scrapes on it, which is, it's not a big deal, but it's kind of annoying. Now I'll get to the right arm. Same basic transformation. Bring this out, and then slide it onto the side here. And then to complete the transformation, we will put this in, fold these back, and then you take this and you fold it down. And there's a little button in there, a little switch right there, that in this little groove that would normally be pressed by one of these, by this tab here. And that sound is the transformation sound, which I think is pretty neat. And the last sound this thing has is if you pull this down and press the button. And that's this guy's finisher move. In the show, what he did is he would suck the enemy into his furnace and incinerate them, which I think is a pretty cool concept. And this is his robot mode, and I really like the way this looks. I like the dark navy blue, I like the vibrant gold, I like the really nice blood red here, and then it's just really nice. It has a nice color palette that's done tastefully. And he's not the tallest thing, but he makes up for it by being very broad, so he's not actually as small as you might think. And for posability, his arms can go around 360, and then they can go in and out like this, but because of how these blocks fit into the arm here, if you have them out a little bit, you can't turn the arm, but you can do this, where you turn it and then bring it out, which will work fine. And that's about all he does by himself. Now, it is possible to combine him with the chest of the Phoenix Zord or whatever from the Mystic Titan. And what you need to do that is you open these compartments, and actually the compartments on all of the cargo cars open. It's just there's nothing in them, and you can put stuff in if you want. But down here you have these little trains which come off, and these little trains, they combine together, and what they do is you take this out. You see how deep this is when it goes into there? What you need to do is you then push these into the chest, which gives you enough clearance to put on the red chest. But that's all those are really good for. In the show, they're part of the finisher move, but you can only imagine with them in this mode. You can only imagine with a toy. So that's basically all the set does. I do have one actual complaint about, though. When this is put into the body here, you can't reach the on-off switch. Now, when I got this, it was in the on position, and I assume it had been in the on position for a while. So I assume this has an automatic shut-off feature in it, because you can't reach the switch when it's plugged into the chest, and I can actually plug it in right now with those other trains here, but it looks real dumb. I assume it has an automatic shut-off switch, so you won't just run the battery down, but that is a concern. And also, the battery compartment is right here. There's a screw in that smokestack right there. Unscrew it, and then you pull it off, and it takes 2 AAAs, I believe. Anyway, this has been the review of the Solar Streak Megazord, also known as the Travelion. I really like it. I do recommend it. It's a very interesting figure with a great color scheme. And I really like the way the cargo cart transforms. That is brilliant how it works. Anyway, I review Power Rangers, Transformers, Macross figures, tons of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.